Get ready, Friar Faithful. This is the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network.
Jackson swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. He has done it again. Unbelievable.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt.
Ultimately, what we're here to do is win.
From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today, the Padres take on the Athletics in the second game of a three-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the A's left-hander Jeffrey Springs and for the Padres right-hander Dylan Cease. Hi again, everyone. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento at 7:05 p.m. as the Padres continue this three-game set and six-game road trip. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. We check in with Tony Gwynn Jr. from Sacramento in just a few minutes, plus our keys to the game and much, much more to come. But first, it's time to set the table. Brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres entered today 9-2 to begin the season. They entered today with not just the best record in the National League West, but the best record in all of Major League Baseball. The 9-2 start is tied for the best 11-game start in franchise history. Both the 1984 and 1998 Padres started 9-2, and those teams went on to win the National League pennant. Meanwhile, the A's come in 4-7. They were swept by the Cubs in their first series at home, but bounced back to win 2 of 3 over the weekend from the Rockies in Denver, then losing yesterday's series opener against San Diego. Before we turn our full attention to today's game and the latest news, let's take a look back at last night's series opener in Sacktown.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Padres got off to a great start last night. Manny delivered in the first.
Machado reaches for this one, pokes it out into shallow center field. Levitt charging in. Dive forward, can't make the catch. Arise gambled, he's going to win his bet. Comes in to score. Manny slides feet first into second with a bloop double to give the Padres a 1-0 lead.
It wasn't 1-0 for long. Next up was Jake Cronenworth.
Runner on second, one out for Cronenworth. Goes after the first pitch. Sends it high and deep to right field. Butler at the wall looking up. It's going to go. 2-run homer, Jake Cronenworth. And 3 straight extra base hits here in the top of the first inning have given the Padres a 3-0 lead.
Padres then added on in the third.
Paradise. 1-0 line over the head of the second baseman, Muncy, into right center field. Levitt cutting it off, but not till it gets to the track. Then he bobbled and lost it. That's going to allow Arise to come all the way in and score. And Manny standing at second as the Padres have added on. It's 4-0.
Michael King got off to a good start, but then he allowed a Tyler Soderstrom solo home run in the bottom half of the third to make it 4-1. King gave up 2 runs in the fourth inning to make it 4-3. He went 5 2/3 innings and left in line for the win. In the top of the seventh, Fernando Tatis Jr. had a big swing.
The right-hander deals, and on 2-0, Fernando swings, hits one in the air, deep to left field. You can forget it. All the way out of Sutter Health Park.
That made it a 5-3 game. It turned out the Padres would desperately need that run because Tyler Soderstrom did this against Jeremiah Estrada in the bottom half of the inning.
Pitch to Soderstrom, hit in the air, deep to right field. Fernando back at the wall, measuring it up, no chance. Up over the bullpen and onto the berm. Second homer of the night for Tyler Soderstrom, and once again a 1-run game.
Padres bullpen did the rest in a 1-run game. Jeremiah Estrada finished the 7th inning. Jason Adam pitched the scoreless 8th inning. It was Robert Suarez in the 9th.
Heavyweight matchup. First pitch swung on and popped up into shallow right center field. Lockridge coming on. He calls for it. He makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Robert Suarez, a perfect 5 for 5 in save opportunities to begin this season. And the Padres are in first place here early on in 2025. A 5-4 win over the A's in Sacramento.
First place in the NL West, the best record in all of baseball entering today at 9-2. Now the Padres look for a third consecutive win today against the A's. As we get ready for first pitch coming up at 7:05 in Sacramento, let's check in with Tony Gwynn Jr.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Tony Gwynn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Tony, before we get to the Padres and the latest news of the day, let's just talk about the experience so far in Sacramento. Still very early in the season there in Sacramento as we all get used to Major League Baseball being played at Sutter Health Park. Your impressions of the experience in Sacramento so far?
It's been good. I think no one fooled themselves into thinking we were coming to a place that had all of a sudden gone from a AAA ballpark to the major league venue that we're used to being in. But that being said, I think the people have done a good job. The playing field, the surface looks terrific. The minor league kids are going to get a chance to play on surfaces they've never probably played on before. And I think all in all, they've done a good job of trying to bring the closest thing they can to a major league experience. And I think given the circumstances, they've done a pretty good job here.
Tony, news of the day, Jackson Merrill going on the 10-day IL with a right hamstring strain, obviously dealing with leg tightness last couple of days, and the Padres being extra careful with him. I would assume because A, it's Jackson Merrill, and B, it's so early in the season. But Tony, I'm not sure if you ever dealt with hamstring issues at any point in your career, but why can a hamstring be so tricky, and why might the Padres want to be extra cautious?
Well, you're in luck, Sam, because I experienced quite a bit of hamstring issues early in my career. And the thing about a hamstring is it's a soft tissue injury, obviously, and you could feel like you can do things, and then you get out there and you have to be explosive, and your hamstring is nowhere near being ready to handle that. And that's the tough part, especially when you're younger. You feel good. It usually means you can go out and play. The hamstring just doesn't work like that. And it's not necessarily straight line type stuff. It's having to go first to third and putting the type of pressure and turning when guys start to get healthy from a hamstring, they all do the same type of warm-up. And you'll see it, I'm sure, for Jackson, if you're getting in the ballpark. They go on the outside of the dirt, and you have to run that arc that's on the outside of the dirt. It's the thing that's going to simulate most without you having to actually get out and run the bases on dirt if you're healthy enough. And so it's just one of those injuries. You have to be very careful that you don't extend yourself and end up being out even longer.
All right, very good insight, Tony. Yeah, you hope it's just the quick IL stint for Jackson Merrill, that he's back at close to 100% when he returns. Oscar Gonzalez coming up from AAA. We'll have more on him a little bit later, but part of this today, at least, is that Jose Iglesias will play in left field. And the fascinating part about this today, Tony, Jose has never played the outfield in the minors, in the majors, in Cuba. So this is really uncharted territory for Jose Iglesias. I suppose as somebody who played outfield in the major leagues, for Jose Iglesias, if you've never been out there, how do you think he approaches this challenge here tonight?
I mean, he's a pro. So, I mean, he's already gone out to left field and taken his fly balls. I think it's going to be really important that Brandon Lockridge is his guide, if you will. You know, get over there. You know that he doesn't have the experience of being out here. Quite frankly, this is a tough place to be learning. The lighting isn't nearly the same as you get at a big league park. And being able to see is one of the things that you certainly want to be able to do in the outfield. We noticed yesterday when twilight time came, because they don't have a lot of lights, it was tough to see. So I think it's incumbent upon Brandon Lockridge to give him as much help as possible today. And for Jose, he's a pro. Like I said, he's going to figure out a way to try to put himself in position to make plays. But I think his center fielder can come as a big help to him today if he can complete that.
Tony, quick question for you about the lights. Is it a lack of lights in a ballpark like that? Is it because they're lower as well than where they would typically be at a bigger ballpark?
I think it's lack of lights.
Okay.
It could be a combination of both, but it is very easy to notice. And talking to the guys, it's the early portion of the game as the sun starts to go down and the lights are on. That's when it's kind of dark here. Once the sun goes completely down, the lights can kind of take effect. So I would tend to say that it's probably the lack of lights that makes it a little bit darker versus the height of them.
Tony, one more thing for you. Fernando Tatis Jr. obviously had the big swing yesterday, big home run, ended up being the game-deciding run. He's off to a great start to the season, but noticeably, he's not chasing as much as maybe we've seen in the past from Fernando. What have you noticed in that respect with Fernando as far as maybe him being a little bit more selective up there?
I think it boils down to him being able to see the baseball. He's cut off the leg kick. He no longer has that. And so when he's getting down early, a lot of times it just allows him to see the baseball out of the pitcher's hand. And I think that's been a big reason why we haven't seen him chase the slider. It doesn't mean you're not seeing him chase at all, but specifically that slider and that fastball in off the plate at times last year gave him problems. He's seeing those pitches very well. And so he's not missing when they throw that sweeper in inner third like he did yesterday, put it up on that building. He's just able to see the ball better, and I think it's a big reason. Him cutting that leg kick off and kind of trimming the fat off of his approach is allowing him to see the baseball better.
Tony, good stuff. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up at 6:55 as the Padres look for their 10th win of this young season. As always, thanks so much.
No problem, Zach.
All right, Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 7:05. A quick look at the Padres lineup today. We told you Jose Iglesias in left field, and we'll have more on Jose a little bit later, but it is quite a task tonight for Jose Iglesias in left field. Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off playing right field. Luis Arraez, the DH, batting second. Manny Machado at third base batting third. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop, batting cleanup. Yuli Gurriel at first base batting fifth. Jake Cronenworth, who hit a 2-run home run last night, at second base batting sixth. Jose Iglesias in left field batting seventh. Brandon Lockridge in the number 8 spot playing center, and Martin Maldonado behind the dish doing the catching with right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres tonight. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, plus who's hot, who's not, and much, much more to come as we get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series in Sacramento. I'm Sam Levitt. You're listening to the Padres Radio Network.
Stay
Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 7:05 in Sacramento. Game 2 of this 3-game series between the Padres and the A's. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres tonight. Left-hander Jeffrey Springs on the mound for the A's. Couple of notes for you before we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. The news of the day, not great news for the Padres. Jackson Merrill placed on the 10-day IL, retroactive to yesterday with a right hamstring strain. The corresponding move, Oscar Gonzalez called up from AAA El Paso. As you probably know, Gonzalez signed with the Padres on a minor league deal during the offseason, was very, very good during spring training. Hit 400, 7 doubles, a triple, 3 RBIs, and 7 runs scored across 21 spring training games. Really just played excellent baseball during spring training, was not put on the opening day roster. Then you look at what Oscar Gonzalez has done so far at AAA El Paso. He's continued to play really, really well. Gonzalez hitting .290 so far, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, a double and a triple in 7 games at AAA El Paso. So we'll see when Oscar Gonzalez gets in there. He would be available off the bench in today's game. With all that in mind, let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt before today's game.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
The offense yesterday, watching batting practice, it seems like it would be an easy trap to fall into. How far can I hit the ball here in this ballpark? But it seemed like the guys really kept themselves under control. Another testament to how the team is bought into it, kept their parks down.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, it's listen, sometimes the ball does carry in certain ballparks, but we know that if we take good at bats, we're going to get our swings, that we're going to get pitches to handle like Crony and Toddy were able to. But we know our approach is going to be what's going to give us the best chance every at bat. So guys were really intentional about their BP yesterday and carried it into the game like we do.
Dylan's been working on some new pitches you've talked a lot about in spring training, and he's actually incorporated them so far here in the season. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on how he's done a nice job of sort of implementing some of the new weapons without taking away from his arsenal and having everything complement each other? Because that's not always that easy.
No, it's not easy, and I applaud him for doing it. I mean, you're talking about a perennial, last several year top 10 Cy Young guy who's could easily and rightfully rest on that and looked up and realized, I got some things I could do that could make me even better. And they went to work, him and the pitching group, Ruben, on developing the changeup and then the 2-seamer, and both are real pitches. The changeup's got some swing and miss with it too and softer contact, and the 2-seamers induces some earlier contact, so it looks good.
You talk about the decision on Jackson.
Yeah, so, listen, it's once we realized we weren't in that gray area anymore, the gray area being like day-to-day, try to figure it out, day off coming up. But the good news is, at the moment, it doesn't appear to be anything overly serious. There wasn't a traumatic effect that caused it. It was some tightness that clearly is real, and he's working really diligently, as you would expect, to get treatment. We just felt like it was going to be every bit or close to the 10 days, right, that mark. And instead of playing, shorter, and also trying to, not that we would force it, just go ahead and get it done and presents an opportunity for Gonzo.
And the decision tonight to have Jose play there, do you like what you see based on his versatility in the infield? And how do you think he's going to do?
He's played some outfield before. He's a very versatile player. He's just a baseball guy that figures it out. We haven't had a chance to get him in there. We have our infield that we run out there pretty consistently, and he takes good at bats against lefties. So opportunity presented itself today to get him out there and get him some at bats and against the lefty.
I think Oscar will get the opportunities there in the Lockridge and center, maybe a bit more.
I think you can expect to see Locke stay in center field, and then we'll just play the game as we see it relative to righties, lefties, that kind of thing. But I would expect Oscar getting most of his opportunities in the left field.
How much did it being this time of the season, like, play into like making it obvious that this was the right move?
With Jackson.
Yeah, given how long there's still to go and how much.
Yeah, I think we were ahead of it yesterday, and then like I said, still some things going on that making sure of. Relative time of the year, I mean, yeah, we're going to be a little more cautious this time of year. That's for sure.
You mentioned the Echo Park hitting a second ago. You guys don't strike out very often, but it doesn't seem like that's not what you're preaching. Don't strike out. Like, how do you?
That's right.
How does that come about then?
A lot of different ways. I love the group and Victor's mentality and messaging behind it. We're gonna look to put good swings on balls in the strike zone, and we're gonna look to use the whole field. And we do that, we're in good shape. And it's not like we're just putting in play. Now Manny battled some tough pitches yesterday, and that the first run we got and was able to get 2 strike, put the ball in play. We got a good read and was able to score on that ball that fell into center field. But because those guys, those balls give you a chance. But we're still looking to get off good swings. But we just know that we're going to look to, make sure that if it's around the zone with 2 strikes, we're going to take our swing at it.
You have guys with the power that you have, a few of those guys that are bought into that kind of approach. Like, what does that do for what you're capable of doing offensively?
Quite a bit. When everybody buys into it and knows that it's good for the greater group to take consistent at bats and to know that there's going to be residual value from them and the powers will come and not go, well, I'm going to sacrifice something to get it. Then that's what you have. You have real buy-in. It's important.
The lack of strikeouts is just a byproduct of all of that. It's not anything that's ever preached.
It's. I mean, listen, our roster's somewhat built for it. We have guys that put the ball in play. There's a lot of factors to it. But we are gonna. It's a competitive mindset too. Like, we get 2 strikes, we're gonna figure out what you're doing, what you're trying to do to us, and we're gonna battle our tails off to make sure we can have a good at bat, put the ball in play somewhere hard.
Like I saw a stat the other day, this is the first time I think it's 3 teams in the same division started 7-1 or better. What do you make of what's going around the NL West early this season?
Okay, it's an interesting stat. I hadn't seen it. Doesn't surprise me. Listen, I think we all knew going in, it was going to be a competitive division, competitive league, and so teams getting off to good starts and those teams doing well don't surprise me. Ultimately, again, it's how we play, but it speaks to the strength of the division at this point.
Specifically with the Dodgers, the last couple of years, getting to witness it yourself, how does it compare to anything you've been a part of in terms of rivalries in baseball? And you have some good ones in St. Louis. Yeah,
us and the Dodgers. In St. Louis, there's a built-in, long-standing rivalry in Chicago with the Cubs, and all the games have equal meaning, and we can't alibi that some of those games, a lot of fan base rivalry there, and that's really cool to see that. Right, you get there and you show up at home, and you go on the road and you see a lot of your own fans in the ballpark. They've done a little bit more policing of that in our rivalry with the Dodgers as far as home field, advantage and seeing other teams' fans in there. I think it's fantastic. I love it. Like I said, I feel like we're a respectful rival with everybody, because we have to play the whole schedule, and everybody talks about beat LA, and that's we want to do that. But my hashtag is beat everybody.
All right, hashtag beat everybody. I like it. Maybe we could get that going on social media. Sam Levitt with you inside our San Diego studios, or EcoWater SoCal. Padres pregame show continues. That was Padres manager Mike Shildt before Game 2 of this 3-game series in Sacramento. We'll hear more from Mike on our postgame coverage coming up later on this evening. And speaking of hashtags and social media, as always, we invite you to get involved on our pregame coverage by finding me on X at Sammy Lev, SammyLev. TV. Instagram DMs open as well. Sammy Lev there too. On TikTok, Sammy Levitt, SammyLevitt. If you're watching on YouTube on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube channel, hello to you. You can comment on YouTube as well. As always, we invite you to share a key to today's game. I'll have my keys to the game coming up a little bit later on, but if you share one, may just read it live here on the air. First pitch coming up at 7:05. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
We begin with a look at the hot category. Fernando Tatis Jr. certainly in there for the Padres. He's reached base in all 11 games this season, hitting .381 with 10 runs scored. He's also walked 6 times and only struck out 5 times. Luis Arraez, also in the hot category. He was hitless through 4 games, but he's heating up now. 12 for 30 in his last 7 games, including a 4-hit game couple of days ago. He's also not struck out in 48 plate appearances this season. Manny Machado in the hot category as well, hitting .379 with a couple of doubles and 3 stolen bases in his last 7 games. Manny does not have a home run yet this season, but he's played really, really well so far. Lawrence Butler for the A's in the hot category, 8 hits in his last 18 at-bats. Tyler Soderstrom, we'll have more on him a little bit later, but he does have multiple hits in 4 consecutive games, had 2 home runs yesterday. He has 3 home runs in his last 2 games. Jacob Wilson for the A's has a hit in every game this season, 11-game hitting streak to begin the year, batting .366 so far with a couple of home runs and 7 RBIs. Wilson has an 18-game on-base streak going back to last season. In the not category, couple of guys for the A's we focus on. Gio Urshela playing third base tonight for the A's, batting 8th. He's batting just .103 in 29 at-bats. And the A's center fielder, J.J. Bleday, just 3 for his last 21. And that's a look at who's hot, who's not, as we get ready for tonight's game in Sacramento. Before we get to our typical Major League headlines, a really horrible story out of the Dominican Republic today. Former Major Leaguers Octavio Dotel, and Tony Blanco were among more than 60 people who died after the roof of a nightclub collapsed. Reports also include that Nelsie Cruz, the sister of former Padre Nelson Cruz, was also killed in the incident. Nelsie Cruz was the governor of the northwestern province of Monte Cristi. Another 160 people were injured. The collapse occurred around 1 a.m. last night during a merengue concert. Athletes, politicians, others were at the Jet Set nightclub in Santo Domingo. Our thoughts are with all the families of Octavio Dotel, Tony Blanco, Nelsie Cruz, and all those affected and their families. A really, really tragic, horrible story out of the Dominican Republic last night, and certainly our thoughts with everybody involved. Let's take a look at those Major League headlines.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Mariners outfielder Victor Robles has a fracture in his left shoulder. He'll miss at least 12 weeks and potentially the entire season if he needs surgery. The Mariners believe Robles does not need surgery, but they will still monitor the injury. He was hurt while making a jumping catch up against the wall on Monday. The White Sox signed former Padre Brandon Drury to a minor league deal today. Drury was released by the White Sox late in spring training so he could test free agency, but now he is back with the White Sox. And also Braves right-hander Reynaldo Lopez will be shut down for 12 weeks, but the Braves still hope he can return this season. He had exploratory arthroscopic surgery on his inflamed right shoulder earlier today. It revealed no structural damage, but he's going to miss a few months at least for the Braves. By the way, the Braves sitting at 1-8 to begin the season. We'll have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up a little bit later on. When we return, we'll have our keys to the game. We'll also tell you what to watch for. Coming up a little bit later, a full breakdown of today's pitching matchup between Dylan Cease and Jeffrey Springs. Much, much more to do on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show right here on the Padres Radio Network.
Hey, Shay.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you in our San Diego studios. First pitch coming up at 7:05 in Sacramento. We go out to Jesse and Tony in less than 20 minutes as the Padres look to build on a Major League Baseball best 9-2 record entering today's game. Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres tonight. Left-hander Jeffrey Springs on the mound for the A's. We'll have much more on that pitching matchup coming up in just a little bit. In case you're just hopping in the car or joining us, catching up on the latest Padres news of the day, let's give it to you once again with our injury report.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
The news of the day, unfortunate news, Jackson Merrill on the 10-day IL. Earlier today, Padres announcing that retroactive to yesterday. Merrill, who we knew was dealing with leg tightness, well, he's placed on the IL today with a right hamstring strain, the first IL stint of Jackson's young career. Padres recalling outfielder Oscar Gonzalez from AAA El Paso. As we mentioned, and we'll get into it a little bit more later, Jose Iglesias in left field tonight. Brandon Lockridge in center, but Jackson Merrill, as far as who's in, who's out. Well, Merrill out tonight. He'll be out for the next week and a half or so. He is on the 10-day IL with a right hamstring strain. And that's a quick look at who's in, who's out as we get ready for game 2 of this 3-game set. Let's give you our keys to tonight's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
Key number 1, Silent Soderstrom. The A's Tyler Soderstrom belted 2 home runs last night. He's tied with Aaron Judge for the major league lead in home runs. They each have 6 on the year. Here's what's crazy. He only hit 9 home runs in his first 106 career games, and he's already got 6 this season. Something to watch today with Soderstrom. His home runs last night came on 4-seamers, 4-seam fastballs. He's 11 for 24 with 4 home runs against 4-seamers this season. He's also hit 5 of his 6 home runs when ahead in the count. So what does that mean for Dylan Cease tonight? Well, Cease likes to throw that 4-seamer, as we know. Has to be careful with that, certainly against Soderstrom. And Cease should also do his best to not fall behind this guy because he's really done well in scenarios where he's ahead in the count. So Dylan Cease, be careful with that 4-seam fastball tonight against Soderstrom. That's key number 1. Key number 2, sort of in the same theme, limit the A's power. Soderstrom did the damage yesterday, but this is a lineup that can really hit it out. The A's have homered now in each of their first 11 games for the first time in franchise history. Last night, it was one guy that did the damage on a couple of solo home runs. Don't let the rest of this A's lineup hit home runs tonight. I'm talking about Brent Rooker, who's got 4. Langoliers, Shea Langoliers has 3. Jacob Wilson has a couple. Lawrence Butler, leadoff man, has a home run. Don't give up the home runs here tonight. Key number 3, keep this bullpen rolling. The Padres bullpen ranks among the major league's best right now. Right now, the Padres bullpen has the lowest bullpen ERA in the major leagues at 1.50, lowest opponent batting average in the major leagues at 150, second lowest ERA at 1.74. They're tied for second in wins with 4 and tied for 4th in strikeouts with 49 entering today. You really can look at anybody in this bullpen. They've been great. Adams been great. Suarez has been great. Morahone's been great. Peralta has been great. List goes on and on. Big reason they won the game last night, not just the offense, not just the Cronenworth home run, the Tatis home run, but the fact that you can give this bullpen a 2-run lead, a 1-run lead as it got later last night. Give it to them. And so far, it's been forget the rest. They've been terrific. We'll see if the bullpen can keep it rolling in game 2 of this 3-game series. And that's a full look at our keys to the game as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 7:05. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We do have a number of finals around the major leagues already today. Blue Jays 6, Red Sox 1 at Fenway Park earlier in Boston. Once upon a time, Padres fans dreamt of James Wood hitting home runs for them. Well, James Wood, after the trade for Juan Soto, now is a National. But I guess the next best thing would be James Wood hitting home runs to beat the Dodgers, and that's what he did in D.C. today. James Wood hit 2 home runs as the Nationals beat the Dodgers again, 8-2. So the Padres could extend their division lead over the Dodgers with a win in Sacramento tonight. Cardinals beat the Pirates 5-3 in Pittsburgh. Mets beat the Marlins earlier today, 10-5 in New York. Guardians beat the White Sox 1-0 in Cleveland. Guardians won that game on a walk-off walk. Nolan Jones at the plate. That's how they scored the lone run of the afternoon. Tigers beat the Yankees 5-0 in Detroit. Tigers hitting 3 home runs in the 4th inning to win that game against the Yankees. Game's going on right now. Angels and the Rays tied at 3 in the 9th inning in Tampa Bay. Braves lead the Phillies 6-5 in the 8th inning in Atlanta. Twins and the Royals tied at 1 in Kansas City in the 7th inning. Cubs lead the Rangers 6-5 in Chicago in the 7th. Brewers 4, Rockies 1, 4th inning in Colorado. Orioles are scoreless against the Diamondbacks, just underway in Arizona. Same thing just underway in Seattle. Astros and the Mariners are scoreless in the 1st inning. Only other game yet to begin aside from the Padres and the A's, the Reds and the Giants going at it in San Francisco at 6:45. Giants off to a very good start as well at 8-2 on the year. And that's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. When we come back, we tell you what to watch for in tonight's game, plus a full breakdown of our pitching matchup between Dylan Cease and Jeffrey Springs. First pitch coming up at 7:05 here on the Padres Radio Network. Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. We go out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. in less than 10 minutes up in Sacramento. First pitch coming up at 7:05 as the Padres try to build on a Major League best 9-2 record to begin the season. Like we said earlier, only 2 teams have ever done that in Padres history, be 9-2 through 11 games, one team being in 1984, the other 1998. And as you might know, both those teams won the National League pennant. So what's in store for the Padres in 2025? I suppose we'll see over the course of the next handful of months. Let's tell you what to watch for in tonight's game.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
Pretty easy today to tell you what to watch for. To me, it's Jose Iglesias playing the outfield for the first time ever. Iglesias playing left field today with Jackson Merrill going on the IL. Brandon Lockridge in center. Iglesias in left field batting 7th. Lockridge in center batting 8th. Jose Iglesias has never played a day in the outfield in a now 13-season Major League career, nor did he ever play in the outfield in the minor leagues, nor did he ever play there as a young player in Cuba. So how does Jose Iglesias fare out in left field today? That's what to watch for in today's game. He'll be tested out there. It's left field, right? At some point. What to watch for in today's game. We'll see how Jose Iglesias does in his first ever professional game in the outfield, starting in left field tonight for the Padres. Let's preview our starting pitching matchup between Dylan Cease and Jeffrey Springs.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres tonight. The 29-year-old has a 3.38 ERA in 2 starts so far this year, 14 strikeouts in 10 2/3 innings. First start of the season against Atlanta, 4 innings and a third, 3 runs given up. Second start of the year against the Guardians, 6 innings and a third, 1 run allowed, 7 strikeouts. He was really good the last time out. Faced the A's as a member of the Padres last season, gave up 1 run in 6 innings of work. One note. Tyler Soderstrom, we talked about him during our keys to the game. 2 home runs yesterday. Well, he's the only guy in this lineup for the A's to hit a home run against Dylan Cease. Cease relying on a 6-pitch mix right now. Slider, 4-seam fastball, that changeup, knuckle curve, a sinker, and a sweeper as well. Left-hander Jeffrey Springs on the mound for the A's, 32 years old. 4 ERA in 2 starts so far this year, 12 strikeouts, 5 walks, and 9 innings of work. He was traded from the Rays to the A's this past offseason, made 7 starts last year for Tampa Bay after having Tommy John surgery and missing most of the 2023 and 2024 seasons. He's had mixed results in a couple of starts to begin his athletics career. First start, he was really good. 6 scoreless innings against the Mariners. He struck out 9. Second start, he gave up 5 runs in 3 innings against the Cubs. Now, Springs has not faced the Padres in a long time. Last saw them back in 2018 when he pitched in relief for the Rangers. Xander Bogaerts, a home run in his career against Springs. Only guy with a home run against Springs in this lineup here today. And Jeffrey Springs, a 5-pitch mix. 4-seam fastball, a changeup, a slider, a cutter, and a sweeper. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup. Dylan Cease for the Padres. Jeffrey Springs on the mound for the A's. As always, thank you for listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Let's set the table one more time for you. Padres come in a record of 9-2 through 11 games, tied for the best record in Padres history through 11 games. Padres enter today with the best record in the NL West and the best record in all of baseball. Meanwhile, the A's come in 4-7. A's losing last night to the Padres by a final score of 5-4. We'll see if the Padres can make it 3 straight wins and collect their 10th win of the season with a victory in Sacramento tonight. When we come back, we send things out to Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.